Michigan mockery of Notre Dame's iconic battle cry. Play like a chicken today.
Unbelievable rivalry games at Michigan. The Notre Dame game, that rivalry, which they're chickening out of. But
oh yes, months of playful sparring leading up to the last battle at the Big House for proud programs that first collided in the earliest days of college football, but another casualty of modern times. Now after the sun sets, the lights come on, a sequel, we hope, to the electric, historic, epic 2 years ago. A heartstopper in a sea of maize. So on a beautiful fall day, 11 hours to kick off the 11th trip to Ann Arbor for College Game Day, the Fighting Irish and Michigan Team 134.
ESPN College Game Day. To your city. Well, we're coming to your city. Will we string out soon or roll tide, roll big blue, and had a ball down on the bayou on the plains. We saw blue turf and the tomahawk chop, and the gators in the swamp. Yeah, the big Sioux and go Gamecocks, they all got game. Irish battling Buckeyes and the Chiefs, USC and Bevo too. Aggies, Huskers, TCU.
Red 17 Thunder Razor, college football, can't amaze ya, ESPN, tell your family and friends, I said it once, but I'll say it again, get ready for the Rockets, we going to work, with Chris, Lee, Desmond, David, and Kurt, buckle your chin strap, get ready to play, it's time to kick off College Game Day.
To your city. And if you want a little zing in your zang zang, if you want a little tang in your tang tang, come along, come along, come along, come along. Yeah, we're coming to your city.
College Game Day, live from Ann Arbor, Michigan, is built by the Home Depot. Proud sponsor of college football's premier pregame show.
The heart of Michigan's campus, just a short walk from the biggest house in college football. A beautiful fall day as the Irish come calling for the final time. These Michigan students' counterparts would like to tell you they taught Notre Dame students, literally taught them how to play college football. The first date in this long relationship way back in the 1800s. Welcome, great to be back here. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Curb Street, and the man of the moment, old number 21, Desmond Howard. Good to be back in your stomping grounds as the Irish. Your old friends from Notre Dame are in town, Desmond.
Yeah, some of my old buddies from Notre Dame. You know, listen, I never do this, but I got to give someone a special shout out. Now, to my friend, Miami Dolphins owner Stephen Ross, thank you for the $200 million you dropped on the University of Michigan earlier this week.
That's nice.
That's some coin.
Yeah.
That's some serious coin.
That's a pretty good deal.
$100 million to the business school, $100 million to the athletic department. So
wow, that's awesome.
$200 million, that's big. So
is that part of the deal, the shout out here? You give $200 million?
you can't let that opportunity pass. That doesn't happen every day.
That's right.
It's great to be back here in the state of Michigan to see the love and respect they have for you, Desmond Howard.
Coach.
It's a great pleasure to be here with you.
Thanks, Coach.
And it's great to see your boys here, too. All this talk about this game being a rivalry or not a rivalry. I don't care what any of these coaches say. This is a huge rivalry. You put Notre Dame and Michigan on the field together. That's 2 years ago, the first night game in Ann Arbor. You were out there in an opening ceremony. I mean, this is as good as it gets.
Special.
Yeah, very special.
Yeah.
So you beg to differ with Brian Kelly's assessment. This is a, quote, regional rivalry.
No.
As opposed to the Notre Dame games against Purdue or Michigan State, which just have the whole nation paying attention to them.
Exactly.
I can't wait to see. You had a loss last week. Notre Dame, Michigan. The pick is a subject of debate.
Yeah.
You picked against Notre Dame more than any other school. I just thought I'd mention that.
Oh, man.
Just saying.
3 hours from now.
Can't go to Mass anymore.
You did pick them, I think, against Alabama.
Ouch.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Oh, nice shot.
Friendly reminder.
You got 3 games, Kurt, that kind of stand above, I think, the other 3.
Well, this one here, when Notre Dame and Michigan get on the field together, I'm anxious to see these two quarterbacks. Devin Gardner has an opportunity, I think, to showcase his talents and show America that he's ready to take over the reins of Albor's offense. This is the week we really find out how far along he is. And Fitz Toussaint is a back that fits in. The balance from Michigan will be important. Tommy Reese comes in with big playability, and number 7, T.J. Jones and Amir Carlisle are his go-to players right now.
How about South Carolina at Georgia? That man right there, Todd Gurley. If Georgia's going to win this game, they must give him the ball about 20, 25 times. And with Malcolm Mitchell, the wide receiver, out with an ACL, expect Michael Bennett and Chris Collins to step up big today, Coach.
Florida at Miami. Running back Duke Johnson is an All-American and the key to Kane's attack. He can run, he can catch with the best backs in the nation. He's a game changer and will have to be at his best today against the mighty Gators.
Stormy, wet day down there.
Oh, yeah.
That might favor. Texas travels to BYU, a real test for David Ash and the Horns' big play attack that rolled up 715 in the opener. Texas touting 7 deep receiving core, physical backs. Ash can run it. The Cougs, Kyle Van Noy, must show why he's a Butkus candidate. And Jamal Williams needs to grind out yards. He says, we're going to wear down Texas. They'll bow to our will.
How about the Oregon Ducks on the road in Charlottesville against Virginia? Josh Huff, remember the name. Josh Huff is kind of taken over along with D'Anthony Thomas as the big playmakers for the Ducks. Virginia, John Tenuta, familiar name, defensive coordinator, got off to a great start in week 1. Tenacious defense at home that the Ducks will face today.
In L.A., the Trojans open the Pac-12 slate versus Wazoo. Sophomore Cody Kessler starts and needs to improve on 4 third-down efficiency, cut down on turnovers. Max Wittick's going to get his shot. The pass pro needs some work. The Cougars have showed softness against the run, but Connor Halliday, he showed some skills in the loss at Auburn. The Cougars can be potent if they don't self-destruct. So you got 3 games out there in 3 different windows. Noon Eastern time following us, Florida and Miami. That late afternoon battle in the SEC East, and prime time here, Notre Dame and Michigan. All of them, by the way, on ESPN, which is just lock in, get a comfortable chair, and enjoy today.
I think a team that has a lot at stake and needs to show something is Georgia. We saw them last week against Clemson. Now they're back home. Big conference game. They're very fortunate to be able to rally the troops after a difficult loss like that and be able to get their team focused because there's a lot at stake, and the Georgia offensive line needs to answer the bell to help Aaron Murray out. Last week, at times they were a sieve. They struggled against that speed, and again, it was on the road. Right. But how do they perform against Clowney, who's going to be fired up at home? Can they open running lanes for Gurley, and can they protect Aaron Murray?
Well, I think South Carolina is a team I won't watch. They have to show the mental toughness to win the SEC. They got all the tools this year. No excuse. South Carolina, it's from the eyebrows up if you're going to win the SEC this year.
Coach, I'm going to go to the Pac-12. You know, I picked Stanford as a team that may get to the championship game, and I want to see what they're able to do. They start their season this Saturday against San Jose State. Now, David Shaw, he's always going to have a great defense with Shane Scove and Trent Murphy, and they're going to run the ball. I want to know if Kevin Hogan can throw the ball down the field, and if he's finally found someone who can go get it. They think this wide receiver by the name of Ty Montgomery just might be that guy. So that's all he's been missing, is a guy who can blow the lid off a defense and go get the deep ball.
You're not the only one that had high expectations for Stanford, you know. But here, your national championship
Win
team.
it all.
Win it all.
Yes, sir. Stanford's going to win it all.
Okay, we'll see. I got them in the game. I don't know about winning it all.
Yeah, that's good.
All
that's
the other
good
teams get on the stage, some of them twice before Stanford finally saunters out there tonight. under the lights against San Jose State. I don't know if they're going to saunter, but I tell you what, at Silicon Valley game, be careful with San Jose State. They did win 11 games last year.
Yeah.
All right, now time for the 9 o'clock hour.
Oh, yeah.
50, the Grant, not the Benjamin.
Here we go.
Miami and Florida. We know it's a rivalry game that is ending.
Oh, no, here we go.
Gators are done. In years back, they used to play for a trophy. They used to play for a now retired trophy.
Yeah, one guy that has a chance.
What is the name of the trophy?
Exactly.
You grew up in Miami. What's the name of the trophy, and where is it now?
Oh, we.
Come on, man. Come on, LC.
It's a two-part
Come on,
question.
LC. Come on, LC.
Two-part question, yeah.
25
Just get one of them. Get one of them. Come on. Come on. Come on.
Hurricane Trophy.
It's a trick question. It's called the Seminole War Canoe. It was an old wooden canoe dugout. That's, of course, Florida State's.
Yeah.
I know.
Wow.
The Gators
You're
played for the
Seminole,
Seminole
too.
War Canoe. Our ace researcher, Chris Felica, is a graduate of the U. He can. Where is that trophy?
There's the
now?
bear.
Right now, it's actually with John Ruth, former Sebastian the Ibis at the University of Miami Sports Hall of Fame. John Ruth has said, hey, Florida wants it back as they won the last game. If the rivalry becomes an annual rivalry again and they play every year, it's up for grabs.
All right,
So
too
it's
much
an annual
information.
game.
Come on.
That's too much.
Yeah, because the Gators don't want to play. So if you want the canoe back, you got to schedule us again, beat us.
Oh, wow.
But it's gathering dust in the Hall of Fame. They might need that Seminole War Canoe to paddle home, by the way. We're going to give you shots later on in the day. It's going to be wet and sloppy
You
down
can do
there.
this for that game and upset everybody.
Damn right.
He will, too.
By the way,
Exactly.
a word to the wise for all you guys who make predictions.
Yeah,
By the
that's
way,
fun.
Week number 1, the experts in the desert.
Struggle.
Favorites exceeded expectations 38 times.
Wow.
Dogs, 37.
Wow.
And as for the point total, dead even.
Is
Overs
that
and
normal,
unders.
or is that an unusual week? Go to the bear for that.
Exactly.
information.
These guys are good, as they
Real
say. Just
good.
A word for the wise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good luck. on that.
Predictions coming up at the end of the show. A lot more in our 3-hour edition. We thank you for joining us here at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. We go right through to noon. Much on Jadeveon Clowney. You know all about the disappointing opener for the Gamecocks stud lining up against Georgia. Gene Wojciechowski went to Athens looking for volunteers to stand in his way today. Northwestern alum Mike Greenberg named honorary captain for a day. But has he taken it a little too far? Probably. And Samantha Ponder spent some time getting to know Devin Gardner this week, including why he compares himself to Wile E. Coyote. Game day rolls out from Ann Arbor.
College Game Day is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And in part by Firestone Complete Auto Care. Keep your car running newer, longer. And Kingsford Charcoal. Everyone's a fan when you grill for game day with Kingsford Charcoal.
Always exciting to walk around the big house as we did yesterday. It'll be really exciting tonight, primetime on ESPN. Reminder to log on to ESPN.com, search Chevrolet to play Chevrolet virtual Saturday selections. And of course, stick around for our Saturday selections later on in the show and our first ever guest picker from the state of Michigan. David Pollack just can't keep his thumbs off that phone, tweeting. But look where he is, Mr. Howard.
Oh,
He's in your retired locker. That's sacred ground. Oh, he didn't. Hashtag Ask Game Day at College Game Day to get the tweets going. That was 2 years ago. They made that shrine for you. He was not supposed to be in there.
No, who let you in the locker room? We got beef up security over there at the big house.
It was unlocked.
Yeah.
The SEC walked right in. The SEC sneaking into the locker room. What's the over/under on how many times he'll be asked to do the pose? You think
Here
during the next 3 hours? Yeah, I got 10. We just give the people what they want. No, he won't do it. We know he won't do it. Just do the pose.
I'm just saying, you should. I'm sitting down. It's not inconvenient for me to do it.
Honestly, I've known you for a long time. I've never seen you accommodate anybody with that request.
I don't ever want to see him do it again, by the way.
If I'm nothing, I'm
It didn't look as
consistent.
smooth.
You
You are.
Exactly.
You are. You're saving it for a special day, I
There we
think,
go. Exactly.
down the road.
We talked about some of the games. I think a sneaky good game is
Sneaky.
Texas and BYU, because tonight in Provo, Mac Brown considers this a crucial test sort of see where Texas stands. The opener was fun, and they ran wild, Kirk, but a much tougher test today.
Well, it is a tougher test. BYU is aggressive defensively. And don't forget, I know BYU lost to Virginia. They're back home. Provo's a tough place to play. We're going to learn a lot more about how good Texas really is and how far along David Ash has come in his third year quarterback in the Horns.
Now, the last game a couple of years ago was not a classic. It was a mistake-filled defensive struggle, the Garrett Gilbert era for the Texas offense, 17-16. The Cougars have totally changed since then. They run a fast, up-tempo offense. They ran 93 plays in the heartbreaking loss at Virginia, outplaying the Cavaliers on the road. Tonight, about 4,400 feet in elevation. Unusually hot in Provo. It's going to be low 80s, so the Cougars believe they can tempo that big Texas defense. Jamal Williams, the run. Samantha Ponder alongside. Let's get a little preview of what's coming up. The folks here will like it, Samantha.
Yes, they will. Chris, you mentioned I've been here all week. I have a little confession. I have been dropping Desmond Howard's name everywhere. And let me tell you, it works. Free meals, new friends. It's pretty awesome. You know what else is awesome? Brady Hoke. And he's here to talk to us after the break to get us ready for the big game tonight. And I'm going to ask him why Johnny Manziel would be his backup quarterback. Yeah, he said it. It's all coming up right after this. The best section in the house. It's Section 0. Getting ready for more College Game Day right after this from Ann Arbor.
Shall we begin? College Game Day is brought to you by AT&T. Tackle Coach's Weekly Challenge, and you could be the fan that wins a VIP trip to Game Day.
Please remember to tweet your sign to hashtag #GameDaySigns. And then stay tuned later on the show. We're going to reveal our winner. There are places out there, I'm not going to tell you where, but you can find the naughty signs that have been confiscated by crack sign police here. It's out there. There's some naughty ones today here. They like to take shots at the headlines here. Our best sign got kicked out for plagiarism. Kirk, that's not very nice. That's a clever reference. The Chiefs of Real Fan Cam, spotting what's going on here in Ann Arbor. ESPN has it in prime time. The Irish and the Wolverines, who will collide for the final time next year in South Bend, but the final time at the Big House at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, the nightcap of a terrific triple header on ESPN. Samantha?
Thank you very much, Chris. Hanging out with two of Michigan's finest, Michigan men. That's how they describe it here. Brady Hoke, of course, and Desmond Howard. I brought Des just so that I can ask really difficult questions and you'll still be nice in response, right?
Well, that's exactly right. But I'm waiting for Des to do the pose because
Me too.
there isn't anybody who did that pose better than Desmond Howard.
True story. Coach, I'm going to get right to it because this is one of my favorite quotes of the very young college football season. Yesterday, you were asked about Johnny Manziel, and here's your quote. If Johnny Manziel's our quarterback, he'd probably be playing behind Devin Gardner. High praise from you. So why are you so confident in Devin's ability?
Well, I think, Sam, you watch Devin and his progress. You know he's a football junkie. He studies the game, his work ethic, and how he's become a better leader for Michigan in that team. I'm just really impressed with what Devin's done.
Coach, I'm going to get my Bryant Dumble on right now.
Uh-oh.
I mean, Coach.
It's getting serious.
Coach Hope, when you became Michigan's head coach, you went out and you got Greg Madison. You brought him in from the Baltimore Ravens. I know they wish they had him a couple of nights ago against Peyton Manning. How did you pull that off? What brought Greg Madison here to be your defensive coordinator?
Well, I think it's the University of Michigan. I mean, when you have, look at this. I mean, look at this morning. The passion that people have for Michigan football, as you know, a great university. Academically, we got great people on campus. And Greg and I started coaching together in 1984, so that helped a little bit also.
Great people on campus indeed, and former players. Of course, Desmond Howard here came and spoke to the team earlier in the season, but we didn't really hear much about that for whatever reason. I'm sure it was a great speech, Des. We did hear about this guy. Take a listen to this.
Every man in this room is counting on you. And every player that's ever worn this helmet is counting on you. Because you guys are the ones that are lucky enough to play for Michigan. And this place is special to me. It's special to the guys that I played with. It's special to the guys that played before me. Because we love Michigan.
That'll get you fired up for like Michigan.
Got me ready to go.
Although I heard Tom Brady wears Crocs back here. I don't believe that. Do you believe that?
Uggs. Not Crocs.
He does wear Uggs. That's
That's okay with me. You know, I'll tell you, Desmond came in and has done a great job, and he did an unbelievable job when he just met with our freshmen and the message that he had. And then having Tom come back, and he hadn't been back since 2007, and to talk about the adversity and what it means to play in this program. And I think that's one of the reasons Taylor Lewan came back. When he said, "You've never played football at Michigan," I think that set the bar awful high.
And Devin Gardner told me he's just a regular guy. He wears sweaters just like I do. Wouldn't every guy like to be a regular guy like Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Happens to be married to Giselle, no big deal. Coach, we appreciate your time. Good luck out there tonight. We'll see you out there.
All right, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
One guy that Coach Hoke is a little bit familiar with from the bowl game last year, yeah, that's Jadeveon Clowney. Was it the heat, a virus, or just a lack of effort? Whatever it was, Jadeveon Clowney didn't seem like himself in week 1, but how will he look in week 2? The guys, we gave them a little break. They only get about 2 minutes. No ice vest this week, though, guys. Sorry to expose your secrets. I'm just bitter because I don't get one. College Game Day returns right after this.
The Cheez-It Real Fan Cam is brought to you by New Cheez-It Sings. Show us what it means to be an amazing College Game Day fan with hashtag #SingsFan.
Always a great do from the Cheez-It Real Fan Cam here in Ann Arbor. What a scene. And our Cheez-It Real Fan of the Week, Russell and Robin Page from Boone, North Carolina. They've traveled to home and away Notre Dame games since 1986, and Chris, they drove all night from North Carolina. Look at the dog. He's named Irish, and he barks to the Notre Dame fight song.
Oh, no. I'm not saying boon, they are booing. I like the view up top. Aerial coverage brought to you by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Electric scene tonight. Ask everybody wear the Mays shirts again, right? It'll light that place up at night.
Yes, sir.
Well, is it a rivalry or isn't? There's certainly been some great moments at the Big House here. 89, number 1 Notre Dame, number 2 Michigan.
Jimmy Key, come on now, kid.
Special teams killed us.
Watch number 20, dive, Corwin, dive, Corwin, don't try to catch him.
Make
Look
him
at you
swim.
doing.
Oh, but 1991, the pump fake by
Silence. Yay! Never gets old. Hey!
His Heisman moment.
Making Elvis
That was
look
his
good.
Heisman moment.
2009, remember the controversial choice? Charlie Weiss says throw the ball. Late in the 4th quarter, up the lead. Incompletions allowed Michigan to hang on. 2 timeouts. Tate Forcier, Greg Matthews, 5 yards. Touchdown. Michigan wins 38-34. And then, of course, the night the lights came on the Big House for the first time. Special uniforms. Irish had the shamrock on the helmet. Vincent Smith got a touchdown. Riddick to cut a pass from Reese, and then Denard Robinson.
What a moment.
Roy Roundtree.
35, 31.
Roundtree.
How exciting was that game? We have a chart to illustrate this. So pass this around. I want you guys to study the charts here, study the charts and the graphs. This is the probability of Michigan to win the game. So they start out here over on this side, expected to win the game, more than 50%. Then they fall behind. Chances are dipping down here, and they're very unlikely to win the game. And it looks like that
Look, by the
down
way,
here in the third quarter.
Look at it.
Look at the end of the game.
Volatility.
Exactly.
Now, for sure, Michigan's going to win up here. Definitely going to lose. The touchdown. They got no chance to win.
That's the Notre Dame touchdown. Game's over. Filing out. See ya.
Filing out the stadium at that point. Yeah.
I mean, you don't see him start like this.
No, you don't.
It's like an EK of a coach.
Hope we get another one of these tonight.
Keep that as a souvenir here. Well, Brian Kelly once brought the Central Michigan team in there when they had a few less weapons and less chances to win the game than they did a couple of years ago, but it had not been successful for Kelly. On the verge of Notre Dame's last ever visit, in which Kelly has been involved in all the rhetoric we talked about. Is it a rivalry? Is it a regional thing? Is it a big deal? Kelly sat down for this conversation with Heather Cox.
I think it's great for college football. I mean, Gameday's been here 6 times, so it must have some sort of national appeal.
This will be decided by the players on the field, so we can stick to that and dispense with the nonsense.
Let's talk about the rivalry.
Yeah.
What does this rivalry and the fact that it's going away mean to you?
Well, I think the key word is it's a rivalry, and both schools want to play each other. It's unfortunate that we can't get together for a few years, but it's really about the players. It's really about Michigan and Notre Dame getting a chance to play on the field. It's been a great rivalry, and it's going to continue when it gets back together again.
Reese, play fakes. He's looking. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown, Notre Dame.
I think the most intriguing question coming into this season was your quarterback position. How do you feel that Tommy Rees answered that question in game 1?
You know, he had a career high in passing yardage, took care of the football, very good start to the season, but it's game 1. And we've got a lot of work left. Michigan on the road, a great environment. I think this will be a big test for him to see how he handles it. Last time we went up there, we had a great lead, but we turned the football over. So Tommy's going to have to do a great job taking care of the football, running our offense, and if he does that, then I think we'll have a better understanding of where we are with Tommy Rees.
So what have you guys done to help ensure that he takes care of the ball this season?
Well, it starts with he won't be playing if he's turning the football over.
Good motivation.
Yeah, we can go with a young guy to turn the football over. So Tom knows. I mean, he saw from the sidelines what is necessary to win consistently. So I think this is just the maturation of a college quarterback.
Touchdown, Notre Dame.
You came into this season and you said something interesting to your team. You told them if they play this year like they played last year, they'll be an 8-5 team. What did you mean by that?
I wanted them to clearly know that they're not last year's team. They're going to have to do more. They're going to have to prepare harder, work harder, be smarter, more disciplined as a football team. So we have to do more if you want to get back to the top.
Some of you guys think 8 wins would be a terrific season for Notre Dame. You said that in the preview show.
Yes,
They
sure did.
Give them a trophy for 8 wins. That's what the Irish fans here are thinking about. You know, back in the day, this game used to be the opening game, so it really was a lot of mystery coming in. Obviously, you got one game to go on this year, but over the years, there have been some surprises. The last quarter century, last 25 games, the underdogs have exceeded the expectations, 21 out of 25.
Wow.
And there's been a lot of outright upsets. So what might surprise people about Notre Dame tonight?
I think what's going to surprise people is just how competitive Notre Dame is. Now, when Everett Golson was dismissed from the team for academic reasons, it seemed like everyone thought that Notre Dame would just have to fold their tent, pack it in, they're done. And they don't give any respect to Tommy Rees. This guy has weapons around him. He's a seasoned veteran. He played in the game 2 years ago, and I think that they're going to be very competitive behind Tommy Rees. The one thing I really respect about Rees is last year when he was demoted for an underclassman, Everett Golson, he still kept his game up. When they were losing a lot of games, he came in and he played extremely well, which is hard for an upperclassman to do. So I have a lot of respect for Tommy Rees and the way he handled that situation last year. I think he's going to play tonight with a chip on his shoulder.
I think he has that kind of attitude. I think the thing that may surprise people is what a great job Brian Kelly and Chuck Martin, the offensive coordinator, have done at adjusting the way they're attacking now from a pistol offense with Tommy Rees. They lost the mobility and the creativity and the ability to improvise from Everett Golson. That was a big part of their offense a year ago. They've taken the time to be able to construct an offense, and there is a lot of big playability on this offense, both in the backfield and out on the perimeter, which surprised me when I watched them against Temple, considering they lost Theo Riddick, who was a great player, Sear Wood, and of course Tyler Eifert. You lose 3 of your playmakers, and you look even more explosive a year later. That's impressive. I know it's only only 1 week.
Well, the Irish showed unexpected firepower last week against Temple. They had 4 touchdown drives, a total of 14 plays, 23 yards per play. That sounds like Oregon. Yes, but remember, it was against Temple, a team that lost, was 4-7 last year and had 31 points again. Scored them.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll see tonight.
I'm so eager to see. I think I was one of the people who's maybe guilty of overreacting to Golson's departure. But then you have to remember Brian Kelly's history. He's had so many different styles of quarterbacks. Central Michigan, Cincinnati, guys like Caleros, Tony Pike, different guys. And whoever started, and there's been injuries, he has adjusted what he's wanted to do to the quarterback's talents. It's just terrific.
He always has done that. I mean, with Tony Pike, it was drop back. Kind of like with Reese now. Was Zach Caleros, it was Everett Golson. Exactly. So he does a great job of implementing his system to fit the quarterback's strengths.
Yeah, sure.
And that's why I didn't understand the overreaction when Golson was suspended.
Right. And Tommy Reese's experience helps out a lot.
Remember one thing, the 23 yards per play on those drives last week. Holy
like you said, that was
like you said, against Temple.
Yeah, we'll find out.
In context.
See if they can
Temple.
Right.
Let's go. We're about an hour away from Saturday Selections. Our researcher, Chris Felic, is going to be joining us from time to time. Let's get a 1 hour to official headgear pick selection out of you. How do you see this tonight? I'm catching you off guard with this.
What are you doing?
I have to support the numbers. The numbers say the underdogs typically do well in this game. So I would have to. I think the Irish actually have a really good shot of winning it tonight.
Oh, the Bear.
No, it goes against last.
Who's winning? This is a new thing. You're on camera. It's not good shot. Who wins the game?
Notre Dame. Despite last year thinking Michigan was the better team, killed themselves with turnovers in the red zone, probably should have won last year. I like Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's defense is really good.
Chris Felica making the first pick. Wow.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Someone else needs a trooper to follow him around the rest of the day. Bobby Petrino with the wheelie bag, rolling into Rocky Top with some luggage. It's a heavy baggage he brings to Western Kentucky.
Oh, man.
But a nice one over Kentucky.
Oh, man.
The shot.
Good one.
Yeah.
There. We'll have some predictions. We're going to pick this game, Mr. Coach. So can they make it 2 in a row over the SEC? And speaking of the SEC, lack of respect for Jadeveon Clowney on the streets of Athens, Georgia. Doubtful that handling him in reality is going to be quite this easy.
Bonnie can't do nothing against me. Mama's boy's going to be tired by the third quarter.
Cheez-Its road trip east to Whoville for the Oregon Ducks. Virginia feeling good. They managed.
Haven't become Bush and White yet. And the defense, I think that's going to be their biggest issue today. When you look at Wazoo's quarterback, Connor Halliday, he was able to hit 10 different receivers against Auburn last week. He's going to test USC's secondary coach.
It's too early to judge USC, but defensively, they had 4 interceptions and did no touchdown, scored a touchdown. So defensive coordinator could play.
Yeah, Clancy Pendergast was at Cal, so he knows all about Leach and the Wazoo offense, but a much more talented cast of characters for this group.
Oh, yeah.
Going to pick this one?
Yeah, I mean, Washington State looks great. I thought they'd go to Auburn in their second year in Mike Leach's system and compete. They were very competitive last week on the road in the SEC. I think there's the flag they believe. I don't think they can match up in the trenches against USC. I like USC to win the game. We'll see what kind of game these quarterbacks have at SC, too. See if they can take a step in the right direction. You mentioned those backs. What about Silas Redd?
Yeah, he's kind of nicked up.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But down the road, he's a guy that's got to be really featured as a go-to guy.
One guy who's got to have a big game today if Miami is going to beat the Gators in the final scheduled game is Stephen Morris. Now, he has played for so many different offensive coordinators. He's rolled with the punches. He was hurt by his receivers. I mean, if they could catch the ball, that would help Morris out against a very nasty Gators defense. They want to kind of stick away, jab the Gators. Gators want to get down and make a cage match.
They better have a few uppercuts. I don't know if jab's going to work.
Not in that game.
No.
We'll talk Canes and Gators and much more on the Wolverines and the Fighting Irish. View of the Cheez-It Real Can Cam. In the heart
Hey,
Man.
you know what? We should have given something to Felica, though.
Yeah, what
we
the
should have given something to
get
the bear. Are you
something.
kidding me?
Two or three of these.
Yeah, two there. Here, man.
Get him a sandwich.
Yeah, give my man Bear a sandwich.
They got the names. Jimmy wants Rosemary's Baby. Mary's Commute, Wayne's Inheritance. These are the names for the sandwiches.
That's great.
Kelly's Menage a Turkey. I get that's a pun.
About a chicken.
Pun on the French.
Clever
Chicken
fun.
sandwich. Oh. Chicken sandwich.
I wish we got to talk.
Empty seats down in Miami.
The good news is the crowd is full. The bad news is
It's half and half.
Miami.
Exactly. half and half. Gators may have bought it
They
up.
rolled down. I think the parking lot was sold out for the tailgating down there.
The parking lot sold out before the game.
That's not a Miami thing. That's more of a Florida
no
thing.
doubt. There's no doubt about that.
Don't worry. We're going to pick this game coming up as we count down to kickoff in South Florida. A lot on the line. A lot of emotions there, and then the last chance for those two teams. Should be emotions here tonight. Trying to limit the impact of those emotions is Devin Gardner. Going to find out why characters like Phineas and Ferb and Wile E. Coyote, Fred Flintstone are near and dear to his heart. It's complicated in college football these days. Now Borges can call some plays in there.
It's not.
With an intensity never seen before. Now Ray Lewis brings his passion into your living room. So before you watch the games, watch Sunday NFL Countdown. Sundays at 10 on ESPN.
Let me think. Got some complicated ones.
The plays aren't too complicated. Devin, he's smart, but he gets ahead of himself sometimes.
I have a really strong, loud voice, so I mean it's not very hard for them to understand me. Some guys try to make excuses when they're tired and not paying attention, you know.
I'll have 5 seconds running down the clock, and he'll be like, okay, we're doing this play now. It's a completely different play, so that can be confusing sometimes.
Move to West Right Peel, 65 waggle, deep dagger, return.
You gotta keep up with Devin. He's a fast energy guy.
It's complicated in college football these days. Now Borges can call some plays in there. A lot of talk about the playmakers here as you see the beautiful view from the Goodyear blimp. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. You saw Mr. Lewan there. Michigan, Notre Dame ought to be decided in the trenches. And NFL scouts looking at guys like that against guys like Notre Dame's two interior defensive linemen, Nix and Tuitt. They're two of the top 5 at their position. So lots of talented beef in the middle, lots of playmakers on the outside. In the final collision here, Brady Hoke, give the pep rally, wants the Michigan crowd to impose itself as it did 2 years ago, make things difficult. But he also knows that the emotions of the game caused his team to partially self-destruct last year, almost cost him the game.
You know, a year ago, we turned the ball over 6 times. And so, you know, what we have to do as an offense against their defense is we got to take care of the football first.
Yeah, I think just being prepared going into the game. You know, they do a lot of different things on defense and just trying to understand exactly what different looks they're trying to give you.
They run to the ball. You know, they're a team that fights.
We talk all about our defensive line, and, you know, certainly we've got some high-profile guys there, but, you know, I think we've got to play better in other areas. Play with a little bit more energy, a little bit more enthusiasm.
Once Denard left, it was kind of like a little sigh of relief. Then I pop on the film, and he's got the ball, Devin Gardner, and I'm just like, oh, here we go again.
I'm just looking forward to it. I mean, I can't wait. That's the ultimate test for us as a team, you know, to get an opportunity to play these guys so early in the year.
His counterpart at Notre Dame feels exactly the same way. Notre Dame fans, his own fans used to call him turnover Tommy. Can Reese avoid the picks tonight? That's so huge, Kirk.
You know, you think about Tommy Reese last year at times in his career being booed by his own fans. And you have Devin Gardner, who grew up in his state, dreamed of playing quarterback, was moved to wide receiver, and now he finds himself in control of the reins of this season in this offense.
We talked earlier with George Whitfield, his quarterback guru, about the challenge of switching positions. Samantha, it's an interesting journey to the bright spotlight in the big house for Mr. Gardner.
That it is. Chris, every college football quarterback deals with distractions. But what kind they deal with is what keeps head coaches up very late at night. In order to understand fully what distracts the Michigan quarterback, they'd be better off waking up very early, preferably on a Saturday morning. Meet Devin Gardner, 6'4" quarterback, 3-year college graduate, and cartoon aficionado. Under the white-hot spotlights, we decided to investigate this unique obsession.
I like cartoons. They're really cool. They're really refreshing. You know, it's like a getaway from all the serious, you know, being a Michigan quarterback.
For a guy like Devin, who doesn't go out, he's not a guy who likes to party. He graduated from Michigan in 3 years. It's kind of his release.
So it's a Friday night. What are you going to watch?
Phineas and Ferb. And I actually have Netflix, so I get a chance to watch that anytime.
There's a platypus in it, and so I think he's most like the platypus because he gets down to business. That guy, he gets it done. So Devin is the platypus.
My cartoon character would be really cool. You know, he doesn't get under pressure much. He's a fighter. You know, he always wants to compete and everything. So that'd be my cartoon. He'd be tall, too.
Gardner inside the 10. Gardner, touchdown, Wolverines.
Sometimes Gardner looks like Superman. But even Superman has his kryptonite.
Gardner throws a deep ball, and then that pass is picked off.
Every quarterback handles difficulty or interception specifically differently. How did you handle that in the first game, trying to just push through?
I'm the leader of the team, and that's one thing Tom Brady expressed to me. Whatever I give is what the team is going to give. You know, that however they see me is how they're going to react. So I stay as calm as possible, and I make sure I wink at people, you know, give them the look like, hey, don't worry, I got this.
Gardner under pressure.
On the field, Gardner sees himself as Wile E. Coyote.
Looks downfield.
He just never gives up. He's a relentless competitor, and that's what we talk about being on our team. I'd probably like to have a little more success than him, though.
As for his coach,
Fred Flintstone is probably the universal comparison. You know, I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one that thinks that. I mean, I hope he doesn't see this, but he just reminds me of Fred Flintstone so much. And when they made the real life one, he looks exactly like the guy that played him. So, I mean, sorry, Coach Hoke. I mean,
So for Halloween, are you going to be a cartoon?
I'm not going to dress up for Halloween.
Why not?
Because I'm the quarterback at Michigan. I'm not dressing up for Halloween.
You're too cool now? Is that what you're telling me?
I do watch cartoons, so I'm not that cool, huh?
David Polk, you think he's going to get in trouble for that?
A little bit. Oh, yeah, coach is going to see it.
Just a little bit. One thing's for sure, quarterbacks are only as good as their O-line. He's got 3 interior linemen that got their first start last week. His tackles, though, are both seniors. So what are you expecting from this Notre Dame defense going up against him?
Well, I don't know if it's cartoon characters, but they got 2 Hulks in the middle of Notre Dame's defense with Tuitt and Nix. Both these guys, big, strong, physical. Hey, Alabama might have ran Notre Dame off the field, but Louis Nix held his own at the nose guard position. He's enormous, 340-plus pounds. He's number 9 there and wearing number 1 this year. He's a guy to watch. How do they block him? And then Stephon Tuitt. He lines up at defensive end, defensive tackle. They move him around. But this is a guy 300-plus pounds bending the curve like that. It's pretty nice. Athletic, strong, big. 2 physical mismatches that they're going to have to deal with. Devin Gardner's feet are going to be huge, scrambling away from those 2 guys this whole game.
He's definitely got a lot of help at the left tackle position.
Yeah, he's a stud. Yeah.
Very impressive. Coach, what do you think of this Notre Dame defense?
Thank you, Sam. Well, it's BG. BG means equals before Gardner. They had no touchdowns and 6 turnovers Michigan did last year. NG means Gardner at quarterback. And let me tell you, there's a heck of a difference when that guy's playing quarterback for Michigan. And watch him in the passing game. He sits there, Kirk, watch this there.
Yeah.
Sits there nice and cool, throws the ball under
big
pressure.
Arm.
Big arm.
Yep.
And then, especially on this team, he's magnificent in the red zone. 22 touchdowns. 16 touchdowns, 22 touchdowns are good. Now, Gardner is especially tough in the red zone. Big house, big blue, big Michigan advantage with that guy quarterback.
Woo, sounds like a lean there. I know where you're going with that. I Let's talk about the quarterback on the other side, because Des talked about earlier how impressed he was with Tommy Rees keeping his maturity and still preparing, even though he got beat out last year. I was impressed last week with looking at the big playability of this Notre Dame offense without Golson. Amir Carlisle, the transfer from USC, electrifying speed in that backfield. You'll see a committee of backs tonight. Here's something: you see the pistol offense. They don't have the ability to run option anymore with Golson, so the answer is to kind of tag some run games with their ability to throw if you outnumber them in the box. Last week, Temple, one extra guy in the box. Reese recognizes it, gets the ball out in a hurry to TJ Jones. The linemen are running a zone play. He aborts it, gets it out to Jones, and you can see the big playability on number 7. That's a guy that Michigan's not needs to be aware of. The other one on the outside is number 10, Tavares Daniels. Nice move here to the inside. If you play man-to-man coverage and you don't put a safety in the middle of the field, Tommy Rees has time to throw. He has the ability to make accurate throws downfield. So the biggest difference between this year's offense and last year's is, I think, Tommy Rees's experience. They're better on the outside. It's not just a Tyler Eifert show. Now it's a group of wide receivers and a group of running backs. That's impressive to me with their ability to strike you in a hurry.
I think the biggest difference that we've seen with Michigan since Brady Hoke has been their defense. You know, very impressed with Greg Madison, what he's brought to Ann Arbor defensively. Now, using the Home Depot coach's playbook, I'm going to show you a few players who will be playmakers tonight. I'm going to start in the middle. Number 55, Jabril Black, the nose guard. He's a little undersized, at 6'2", 275 pounds, but his quickness and his ability to use his hands causes a lot of disruption in the guard-to-guard area. Watch him tonight over center. And then watch this sophisticated blitz. The right end is going to act like he's going to come. He's going to drop back. The inside linebacker is going to loop around and leave a gap for Cameron Gordon to shoot, then make the sack. Watch Cameron Gordon tonight, number 4. He's very athletic. They love the way he blitzes, and he's great in coverage, too. He can cover backs and tight ends. And sometimes Madison just outnumbers the offense. 5 offensive linemen, not 5, but 6 defensive linemen. He's going to bring Frank Clark. He's unaccounted, and he's going to level Braxton Miller. He should have got the ball out. With that type of defensive play, I think this gives Michigan a bigger chance of playing well against Tommy Rees. I like Tommy Rees. I think this kid is going to play with a chip on his shoulder. But I think Michigan's defense may be the equalizer as far as dealing with Tommy Rees.
I'm glad you guys featured the red zone. So important in a game like this. Remember last year, Notre Dame's defense, how good they were down in the red zone? Did not allow a rushing touchdown all season until Alabama ran around him and through him. And they did allow one against Temple. Pateo was a part of all that. You still got 2 Knicks up front, but how will they perform in the red zone against Michigan's offense, which you said is so much better with Gardner? Interesting.
How will they communicate? Where's the leadership going to come from? You lose Captain Lewis Moore on the interior up front, his leadership. You lose Manti Te'o at that second level. He was the glue of that defense emotionally. And then on the back end, you lose a great safety in Zeke Mata. So this is the first time that this defense, as good as they were last year, they're on the road without that leadership. It'd be interesting to see how they respond.
But Gardner can run and throw in red zone. Remember, 22 times he's had him in red zone, 16 touchdowns.
That's amazing. Yeah, they were awful in the red zone last year's game. A couple of turnovers down there, didn't score a touchdown. You showed the Michigan front. If they don't get to Rees, are they good enough in the back? Michigan's one of 2 defenses in the country that doesn't have a pick when opponents throw 20-plus yards. Last couple of years. And they got the ball thrown over their head.
And Rees is a really good quarterback, very talented. He will pick a defense apart if they can't get pressure on him. There's no doubt about that.
Speaking of picks.
Oh, man.
Are you ready?
Is it my turn?
It is your turn. You have the honor here.
In my opinion, I agree with Coach. I like Devin Gardner. I've been a big fan of Devin Gardner for a number of years because of his competitive edge, the way he's hung in there and didn't transfer like a lot of quarterbacks do, and he waited his time. I think that the offense will be really good with him at the quarterback position because now Arbor just can open up that playbook. He was really handcuffed with Denard Robinson. And now Fitzgerald Toussaint. He looked very good in practice and in the game last week. I think Michigan wins because of Toussaint and because of Devin Gardner. They will score in the red zone where they struggled last year.
Hey. I'd have fallen off the set if you'd have picked Notre Dame in this game. But it was good sound reasoning, the head and the heart. David, how do you see it?
Oh, man. Well, I'm glad Des got to make him feel good and warm inside. I'll go ahead and take care of the other side. I think Notre Dame's going to win this ball game. I think Notre Dame's defense up front with that young offensive line from Michigan is going to cause problems. I don't think they can run the football. And you know what? We talk about Tommy Rees. The dude was the bullpen arm last year. He was kind of, benched, relegated to the starter. He's been back and forth. He's got kind of a cool, calm demeanor. I don't think the big house is going to be too much for him. I think Notre Dame wins.
He's the bad guy wrestler of our group. Yeah. He's like Adrian Adonis over there. He picked the road team and got booed and was wrong last week. We'll see. I don't want to say anything, Mr. Corso. You are in danger, my friend, of beginning the season 0-2 for the first time in 8 seasons. A little pressure. Yeah. Pressure. The headgear selection coming up. And our celebrity guest picker, he's got ties to Michigan via his father, former UCLA quarterback Mark Harmon, and NCIS's star will come up and picks coming straight ahead. Hi, guys.
College Game Day is built by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And in part by new Cheez-It Zings. Because at Cheez-It, real cheese matters. And Firestone Complete Auto Care. Keep your car running newer, longer.
Our thanks to this big crowd. The proud Michigan band. The Cheez-It Real Fan Cam zooming over the scene. It'll be a sea of maize tonight in primetime on ESPN. Being honored at the game tonight, Michigan's Heisman Trophy winner from 1940, Tom Harmon. He ran faster than that, but slow-mo replay. His son, Mark Harmon, went to UCLA, took on the Wolverines once in his career back in the early 70s. Better agent known as Special Agent Gibbs on NCIS for the last 10, 11 years now. And Mark, kind enough to join us. Welcome. I know it's a special occasion to have your dad honored in the big house.
It's certainly a special occasion for my father. And in Michigan and my father, they went together for a long time. He never stopped being thankful for Michigan.
You played Michigan once, and you weren't too thankful what happened at the one time for the Bruins. You said you got knocked out quickly?
First or second series, I got knocked out. I don't remember much of that game. But they kicked their ass. I know that.
Yes, they did. Win them over. Time now to play Saturday Selections, brought to you by Chevrolet. Virtual Saturday Selections. Go to ESPN.com, search Chevrolet. Not the greatest slate of games, Mark. So we're going to start with a couple of our proposition bets. Teddy Bridgewater, the odds maker, says now the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. Eastern Kentucky, the opponent for Louisville. So give us the number of touchdowns Bridgewater's going to throw for today.
I was going to say 4, but then after what Peyton Manning did the other night, I'm going to say 7.
7? Boy, I go. That's pretty good. 5. He get 5.
I'll go 6.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, exactly. We'll have it all covered.
The Sun Belt has a chance to make this favorite. It's up at the Western Kentucky game at Tennessee. Arkansas State is at Arbor. Gus Malzahn gets the program that he led last year. And UL Lafayette against Kansas State, a team that took a surprising loss last week. What's the Sun Belt team most likely to pull the surprise today?
Lafayette.
Make Kansas State 0-2?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh. No one. They don't win one game.
Well, you got it. No. You just what's the best chance at winning if you're not going to?
No one.
I'll say Lafayette if it's going to happen.
Okay, remember.
But I'm with you, nobody. I think they all win. Let me make that clear. I think they all win.
But you said Lafayette.
They all win. But I think if it happens, it'll be Lafayette.
No bold Toledo's going to pound the Gators pick this week for you.
Bye-bye.
You can't unfollow me. I'm here. Navy and Indiana, total contrast in styles. Mark, it was a shootout last year. Who wins today?
Indiana.
I like he just boom.
Indiana
points. Lots of this offense for real. I can't help myself.
It's hard for you. Indiana against Navy. You were an assistant coach. Interesting game. Minutes away from kickoff down there. The Canes and the Gators don't like each other. The last scheduled meeting is in Miami.
Close game, Florida.
Close game up front. Win it. Florida.
Miami couldn't stop the run last year. They're going to put everybody up to stop the run. They don't think Driscoll can hurt them. Driscoll play action pass on early downs will set up the run. I think Florida goes on the road and beats Miami.
All right. In the SEC East, crucial game. Georgia had some injuries. They took a loss. They come home. I've been tired of hearing about South Carolina. They lost 3 in a row to the Gamecocks and Clowney. Do they reverse that, or does Spurrier get his 16th win against Georgia, most for any coach?
Georgia.
You You're a man of one-word predictions today.
You said to be quick.
I didn't say that quick.
Not so fast, Mark. Not so fast. South Carolina's going to hammer the Dogs today. And
Just keep saying that.
Yes,
I
sir.
like that.
I like that.
Georgia goes back home and rebounds. I think Clowney's going to play out of his mind, but I think you're going to see Georgia's offense go tempo to try to get Clowney and that defense tired in the second half. Gurley has a big game. Georgia at home plays better than they did a week ago.
BYU wants to go tempo. It's going to be a hot game, night game in Provo. People are calling this a major test for Texas to see if they're back. You don't have to be quite that concise. Who wins, Texas or BYU?
Texas.
Texas wins a close game, closer than the experts think. Field goal.
I think this is the game we really find out how much David Ash and Texas has improved. This is a tough game in Provo. BYU lost last week. Their defense is going to come out and play with an attitude. I think Texas wins this game, and I think we find out Texas is legitimate this year.
If we had more guys like Mark, we wouldn't need 3 hours. We could do a 3-minute show, and fans would get to know everything they need to know. Just give me the winners. We're going to skip over Cincy and Illinois, go to Arizona. Rich Rod against UNLV.
Arizona.
Rodriguez pick here.
Hey, listen. Kirk loves you. Keep talking those.
Fast.
Arizona.
I'm going with Rich Rod. Rich Rod. I'm going with. I just made it sure that. Listen, I got Arizona.
Okay. We just enjoyed it to wind him up.
Yeah.
All right, now for the prediction that people have been waiting for. You know about the underdog history, the history of unpredictable results in this game. Underdogs have done very well, pulled outright upsets, and also more than held their own. So after all the chatter, the barbs thrown back and forth for months and months and months, it's all going to be settled on the field. It's again primetime curfew, and you're better calling the game. It's over on ESPN, so no pick, but give us the key to the game.
I think this is going to be one of those games where there's so much hype about the two quarterbacks. Which quarterback avoids disaster? Who avoids the turnover? And which of these quarterbacks has an opportunity to hit some big plays? Can it be Devin Gardner or Tommy Rees? Both are going to be afforded the opportunity. So I think it's all going to fall on the shoulders with a lot of hype of seeing which quarterback handles this pressure the best.
So you're right down the middle as you have to be. We had picks on both sides so far, Mark. Who wins tonight? Ah, there comes the pin.
He's got
visual cue.
Michigan. Staying with the theme.
Michigan. Very simple.
All right.
You better say that. You might be uninvited to the field.
I'd say it anyway. I got it.
Okay. All right. All right. There have been 40 Notre Dame Michigan games, and we've been here for 6 of them.
Yes,
right?
we have. Yep.
This is the last time Michigan and Notre Dame are going to play here.
Yep.
Let's take a listen to what the Michigan coach had to say about that.
We are fortunate to have unbelievable rivalry games at Michigan. The Notre Dame game, that rivalry, which they're chickening out of, but
What do you think about that? How do you beat that? Now, you imagine that? All right.
Imagine that.
So listen. It's not win-win for the Gipper. It's now win-win for the chicken. Give me a hat.
Uh-oh. Ooh. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, God.
Look at the chicken. Give me.
We're good.
All right. Win-win for the chicken. No more. Win-win for the Gipper.
You're out of your mind.
Give it.
Did you bring your gun? I hope somebody's got Mark,
Win-win for the chicken.
You guys are all right.
You never know what to see.
Hey.
It's dinner tonight.
Oh,
my goodness.
That was the all-time head fake.
That's in prime time. Gaines and Caters right now. Dave Pash and Brian Greasy in Miami. Threw him a late curve.
Yeah,